Hi, I'm Serena, Olivia's mother. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about her. She was born in Bath in 1987, and when she was 4 months old we realised there was something wrong with her eyes. She had a white eye instead of a red eye that was particularly in the back of the eye that was really noticeable in the dark or dusk and on photographs. We realised that she had a retinoblastoma, a very rare eye tumour. There's only about 50 cases a year in the UK. And she had her eye removed and a glass, actually plastic nowadays, eye inserted. We thought she was fine, but unfortunately when she was 12 months old she had a recurrence of the tumour. It was growing again and growing back down the nerve into the brain. So this was really terrible news, and the consultants in Bristol told us that there was no treatment to offer and that she was most likely to die. But he thought that we should go to St Bartholomew's Hospital in London for a check, because they were doing lots of pioneering work now there and maybe they had something to offer. So we took her up to London, and the team at Barts, led by John Hungerford, said that absolutely they were doing pioneering treatment of radiotherapy and chemotherapy, and we must have it. So Olivia went through that treatment as a baby and all seemed to be well. So we carried on living as you do, a normal childhood. So Olivia coped with all of this remarkably well as a baby, but I have to say that she was the most terrible sleeper, and probably we didn't have a full night's sleep for 2 years. She loved having her back stroked and she loved her father singing of Blowing in the Wind. When she was 2, her lovely brother Tim arrived. People obviously choose to deal with their illnesses in different ways, and for us we just got on with life. Olivia went to school, she did her lessons, she had her friends, she went to parties. She wasn't terribly good at catching balls, which you might expect with one eye, and we were thrilled when I think she got into the 4th netball team for one match. She was a curious, intelligent child, voracious reader, and very artistic. As a teenager, it was always going to be a dilemma. Was it going to be art or was it going to be science? I think a pivotal moment was when we had a very special holiday in Kenya, and she was exposed to large animals, elephants, hippopotamuses in the wild, and that stirred a real curiosity for zoology. She was also lucky enough to go on a World Challenge expedition with friends to Borneo when she was 17 and saw orangutans and also the terrible damage to the rainforest with deforestation. So as a result of all this, she did an art foundation at UWE and learnt some fantastic skills about photography, and then went to Nottingham University to do zoology. She had a fantastic time at Nottingham, brilliant friends, pub quizzes, Glastonbury trips, family Christmases in Bristol, travels in Africa and Egypt, all the while taking photos and meticulous handwritten diaries. Her love affair with the Sinai came with her undergraduate study of blue-headed lizards, and subsequently she returned to do both her master's and her PhD in the desert. The mountains of South Sinai are made of ancient red granite and glow red and orange in the sunrise and sunset. It's a remarkable place. The St Catherine's Monastery is one of the oldest continuously inhabited Christian monasteries in the world and hosts an amazing array of ancient books. It's a very special place for Judaism, Islam and Christianity. The Bedouin who live there are not purely nomadic, but develop these beautiful cultivated gardens in the deserts, building dams to collect the rain from the mountains. It's a remarkable landscape, one that feels deeply spiritual and draws people. And when you're wandering around with camels and palm trees, it can feel like you've walked into the pages of the Old Testament. Her meticulous fieldwork there showed the importance of the traditional sustainable agricultural methods in arid regions, and she became a passionate community ecologist, encouraging all to look at bees and to love the dandelions in our lawns. She definitely kept her lawn long as a precursor to No Mow May. She was really thrilled to get a lecturer position at Anglia Ruskin University in Cambridge in 2016, and she loved the academic life. As a student, she had struggled with migraines, which had become increasingly more severe. We had failed to make the connection between the radiotherapy she has had as a child and the slowly growing meningioma brain tumour that can be the late side effect of radiotherapy. It was a terrible shock to us when she was diagnosed with a brain tumour in 2018. As the tumour grew, she had a lot of symptoms, including progressive sight loss, and she became completely blind by the time she died. However, she coped with this remarkably, continuing to work, being supported by Campsite, and dealing with her changing circumstances with fortitude and grace, determined to enjoy life. Olivia had always written travel journals while she was on holiday or away, beautiful handwritten diaries with sketches and paintings of where she'd been and what she'd done. She'd always been determined that she would write about Sinai. It was such a special place for her. She started writing in earnest when we were in Jacksonville in the United States having her proton therapy, where she realised that her sight was getting much worse and she would need to use computer software to do her job. So she taught herself really to use the computer and that software by writing about Sinai. She continued writing alongside her job and was absolutely thrilled to get the contract for the book on the day that she decided that really the lecturer job was becoming too much for her. She said in her own words, she was once an artist, then a scientist, and has just become an author. She continued writing the book, absolutely determined to finish it while she was still able to, and we were thrilled when she managed to do that. We were so grateful that the pioneering treatment that Olivia had for retinoblastoma as a baby gave her an extra 33 years that we did not expect her to have. She made the most of every moment. That is why half of the royalties from the book will go to support the Childhood Eye Cancer Trust and the fantastic work they do to support children and families with retinoblastoma. So this book allows us to hear her voice as she writes about her beloved Sinai, her work, her friendships and her passions, and the more recent experience of her illness. To quote from a book, Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr, a book is a resting place for the memories of people who have lived before, a way for the memory to stay fixed after the soul has travelled on. That is how we feel about her memoir and why it is so precious. I hope the book is a way of sharing Olivia's memories for those of you who knew her and those who did not, and that you will be inspired not only by the Sinai Mountains, but by her ability to take each day as it comes and live it to the full.